I think we might have to start the show. It is time to start the show. Hey, guys!
Hi!
Notice the change in energy? Hey, what's up? We are Plus Two Comedy. We are a nerd-specific stand-up comedy duo. And at the end of the show, we do like to do a Q&A. As I always say, if you want to ask us, about comedy, about wrestling, you can do such a thing. Or if you have a nerd debate in the back of your mind, what is the greatest game that should be a theme at MAGFest? We will give you a definitive answer.
Hey, who are you?
I was getting there.
Oh, are we putting this energy out some more?
I'm sorry. Hi, you might know me from my OnlyFans comedy feat. But on stage, I go by TV's Noah Houlihan. Hello. Did I give good energy to start the show for you?
You may know me by my thoroughly defeated expression.
What?
Dog? Dog?
Yes, yeah, I guess I'm a golden retriever, because I heard that. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
You may know me as looking very similar to a cosplay pro wrestling princess, or also from comedy or the Stay Doomed podcast. My name is Laura Prince.
Yes. And we're going to light this candle. Guys, you ready for some stand-up comedy? By the rules of comedy, I have to pretend like I do not hear you and ask again. Are you ready for some stand-up comedy? Yeah! Then please give it up for your first comedian. Please give it up for the very funny Laura Prince.
I'm so short. I never get any taller. I've been doing this for so long. It's amazing. I think if you go through like every Mag Laughs over the years, my set always begins with me just facing down a microphone that is far too tall and just going like, okay. So I'm bringing just, pixie energy. I'm short. So we're at MAGFest. That's so exciting. And I love the, smaller subcultures and just kind of the strange meta game of MAGFest every year. For instance, have you noticed that there are a lot of people dressed as cows? And I find that so fascinating because all I can think of is cows in this economy? Have they seen the price of meat? This is dangerous.
That's why they didn't dress as chickens. There aren't any left.
Well, that's why we haven't seen any Birdo cosplayers. They're at home making money. That's why I have to be honest, I haven't seen a lot of Link cosplayers because they're out trying to catch chickens. Because it's so much easier. Just be like, here, chickens, attack me. Eggs, please. They're so... I don't know what health insurance is like in Hyrule, but it might be cheaper to pay off the medical bills than to buy that number of eggs. Did the chickens drop rupees? I don't know. What is the exchange rate on rupees to American dollars? I don't know. Could be anything. So, I'm looking around. I think a few of you will be able to sympathize. How many of you have been coming to MAGFest for a long time? How many of you are starting to feel like you've been coming to MAGFest for a long time? I'm remembering packing for MAGFest in my 20s and being like, okay, these are all the things I'm bringing. I'm bringing cosplays. I'm making sure I have everything I need for this weekend. I'm bringing drinks and mixers and junk food. And now I'm packing in my 30s and I'm like, I need my vitamins and I need the good knee brace. Not the other knee brace. I need the good knee brace. I have cosplays. I brought cosplays. They're in the hotel, but I was like, it's too cold. Oh, it's too hot. So I'm really feeling that I'm getting MAGFest old. You may not be able to tell by the electric pink flannel or the amount of glitter on my face, but I am an aging manic pixie dream girl. It's funny till it's not. I just got through physical therapy because I fell off a carousel horse. You ever fall off a the horse was very high. I am very short. So I'm trying to get off a carousel horse and annihilated one of my hips. And there's nothing worse than being like, so how did you injure yourself? I fell off a horse. Oh, wow, do you ride horses? No, it was a big stationary horse. It only goes up and down. It went 2 up, and then I went down. But being an old manic pixie dream girl is a very strange experience because I'm married, and if you're a married, aging manic pixie dream girl, the amount of men who cry at your wedding is weird, and then you have to explain it. You have to be like, oh, no, that's just Steve. I taught him how to love. Don't worry about that. Like, it's fine. Let's just, everybody be cool. And then, like, you have to explain why all of these, like, weird exes are at your wedding. And you're like, well, this is the end of their movie. They have to, like, attend my wedding and learn to move on. It's part of the contract I signed. I recently changed my name to Laura. It used to be Autumn. But I've aged out of the program, so now I get to have like just a normal standard name. I have noticed there is no limit, and when somebody whistled earlier, I was like, this plays right in. There is no limit to what I will not notice if there is a dog in the room. The number of things that I have just straight up completely missed, but I can tell you what the dog looked like. Like, I'm walking down the street in Philly a couple weeks ago, and a straight-up fist fight starts, like, maybe a few feet from me. But I saw a Rottweiler named Lancelot with a red collar, and he was a really good boy and let me pet him. So that's all I can tell you. Like, the police came, and they were like, did you see anything? And I'm like, well, Lancelot's really good. He sits. And then we were at this kind of dive bar, and somebody pulls out a knife. But somebody also had their dog under the table, and I was like, oh, the yellow lab, Mitchell. Nobody drew the knife on Mitchell, right? And they were like, ma'am, like, do you just not notice anything? The worst one was my marriage proposal. The Yorkie poo was named Claudio. So I cannot be blamed. Fortune favors fools, drunken men, and girls who love dogs. So it's been a big year for horror in gaming. I love horror in gaming, and it's just one of those things of like, we're really in this time where it's just everywhere. The last convention I went to, there was a very high number of Jason cosplayers, like Jason Voorhees, and which is kind of big talk for someone who's not currently in a game. And I think it's very funny because that convention was during the summer. Meanwhile, winter convention, no Jason Voorhees. He only comes out in the summer. I'm gonna assume he ran out of camp counselors to kill, and now he has to go after the indoor kids. And so he's just walking around the con with his peace-tied machete, and he's trying to figure out how to lure in con goers. So he's going, pee, 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 ka, ka, ka. Pee, 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 ka, ka, ka. And like, it works. You mentioned a Pokemon, and one thing I love about con goers is they're like, yeah, this is totally a trustworthy situation. I will follow this cosplayer with a machete. What could go wrong? Freddy Krueger started a Twitch stream, and it's nice because it's good to see someone chasing their dreams. Hey. Been playing a lot of Dead by Daylight, and they added Lara Croft as a survivor over the summer. And I'm just assuming that means now the gloves are off. We can just add anyone from any game. So here is my pitch. We're gonna get a new killer called the Superstar. He is tall, he is dark, he is handsome. He excels at many sports: golf, go-karting, tennis. Waluigi is the superstar. He just wants to smash. I love Waluigi Smash jokes. I'm sorry. I need to find ways to put them in. Has anyone heard anything about Silksong? Please? Please? Has anyone heard anything about Silksong? Silksong has made me look more of a clown than the Balatro cosplayers. Just every time, they're like, oh, somebody changed their profile picture to chocolate cake. And I'm like, oh, that means it's coming. They're like, no, it's not. And I'm starting to just kind of feel like Silksong. I used to tell a joke about Kingdom Hearts 3 for years and years and years. And now I just have to find a different way to tell the Silk Song joke every year. Because Kingdom Hearts 3 did eventually come out, and I'm like, okay, if I keep telling the Silk Song joke one day, it's never gonna happen. I've accepted that. My best friend has been playing the Hades 2 like pre-release for so long. I'm still playing Hades 1. But I love Greek mythology, so I get to play this fun like metagame of romanceable or related. And it's Greek mythology, so guess what? Why not both? But the thing is, I keep missing major plot points to Hades. Red dog, 3 heads, Cerberus. I keep seeing the dog and I'm like, oh, a puppy! And then I just straight up forget what I'm talking about. So, those jokes are bad. I'm gonna skip that. We got enough. I don't need to do those jokes. They're not. So, I'm old. We're gonna just go back to that. I've seen the demographics of gaming change so much in my lifetime, which is fantastic. Because how many of you remember what girl games used to be? We gotta make sure NSYNC gets to their tour on time. Which, to be fair, would be more fun now if you could just make "this is gonna ruin the tour" jokes. Or like you'd have your Nintendogs. So let's take a brief second of silence for all the Nintendogs that are currently in the arms of the angel. Yeah, you all haven't checked on them in years, and neither have I. But now, we're in this better place where we're realizing that they're all girl games. They always were. I mean, look at Leon Kennedy, or Lady Dimitrescu, or Asterion. They're all girl games. I was Googling Asterion for purely research purposes. And you know how Google gives you suggestions on other questions? These questions when you Google Asterion were, should I let him bite me? Can Asterion leave me? And can I fix him? None of you learned anything from Twilight, did you? None of you learned anything. It's MAGFest, and so you see a lot of cosplayers. Who here has like a cosplay crush? Like a crush on a fictional character? Who's your fictional crush?
Marina Splatoon.
Marina from Splatoon? Oh, you had your hand up.
What?
Who's your...
I didn't put my hand up.
Just attacking people in the front row. You sat in the front row. I don't know what you expected. Yes?
Meg from Hades.
Meg from Hades? Karlak. So, how many of you have, like, then met someone cosplaying as that character? Probably. How many of you have, like, talked to someone cosplaying that character? Has it gone well? Just...
Funny story, I actually used to play the city online with them.
Yeah? And just didn't escalate from there.
Until they told me.
So they were cosplaying a character you had a crush on, you played online with them, and you just never knew?
Yeah.
So I used to have a crush on the character Nightwing from DC Comics. Oh, good. Good. That makes me feel a little less bad about myself. And I met a gentleman who was dressed as Nightwing at a convention. And we kind of like hit it off, and then we were talking, like, we texted a few months later. And I had that moment of, I should have really figured Nightwing would be much... I kind of figured he should have been this needy, considering, like, Batman has more Robins now. Should have figured out he'd be that needy. So I'm sitting there, like, breaking up with Nightwing, being like... knowing that, childhood me would be really disappointed in me. And being like, it's just not working out. Character I've had a crush on since I was 8. Ugh. So, I used to really love cosplaying, and I still love doing shows and performing. You ever found yourself in a situation where you just had to over-explain everything you were buying because you definitely looked like you were about to commit a crime? What did you have to explain? So you had to buy a chef's blowtorch. Why did you need to buy a chef's blowtorch? What costume or what like craft were you doing? It's okay. It's okay. We can move to someone else. Don't panic. It's fine. What did you have to get that you had to explain?
So this was October 2020. I was prepping for a camping trip, and I know, okay, I need duct tape, lighters, and energy drinks. And I go to 7-Eleven and I get these things, and I'm in I'm in line, I see the impulse things, and they have condoms on like inside. And I'm like, oh, I'm running out of condoms. I should pick up some too. And so I show up to the front counter, and I have duct tape, lighters, energy drinks, and condoms. I was so glad everyone had to wear a mask. I would have died if they recognized me.
I mean, to be fair, at least you were being safe. I was working on a show where they were going to be working with barbed wire. And so I needed to get tin snips or something that would cut barbed wire. So picture, if you will, Home Depot. I look and dress like this most of the time. But it was summer, so I'm wearing a little floral sundress, prancing around Home Depot going, do you think this will cut barbed wire? And the guy does not know what to make of this situation or me. And he was like, well, why do you need to do that? And I'm like, well, if some of it gets, lodged in someone's arm, I need to be able to get it off. And he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't think I should legally respond to this question at this time. It's perfectly innocent, but I feel like somehow I am incriminating myself. So I love wrestling. Who here likes professional wrestling? Yay! I love independent wrestling in particular. And one of the reasons I really love independent wrestling is because they have intergender wrestling. And my least favorite criticism of intergender wrestling is that it's not believable. Friends, in professional wrestling, we have The Undertaker, an undead wizard in his 50s. We have Adam Page, a former school teacher that we're all surprised went crazy and started drinking. And on top of that, we have Sting, who is in his 50s and is still dressing like it's not a phase, Mom. An entire story in professional wrestling hinged on friendship bracelets in the last year. But please tell me again that a woman getting fed up and punching a guy is not realistic. So I do love pro wrestling. I love being involved with it. And then on the other side of the spectrum, I really love cozy games. How many of you have been playing cozy games? I used to really love cozy games. I loved Bear and Breakfast, where you're a bear and you have a bed and breakfast. And Tanuki mail delivery, where, you're a raccoon and you're delivering mail so that you can raise money for your temple. But they're starting to get depressing. It's starting to become fantasies like unpacking all those boxes in your apartment, or having an apartment, or, having a room with a window. There's one where you just sit next to a window and do stuff. Having a window is now the fantasy. So currently on my Steam wish list is one where you're just a raccoon. Not like a anthropomorphic raccoon doing human things, you just go feral in the woods. And that is my wish fulfillment at this time. Are you guys ready for your next comic? See, look, now this is good energy. They like you now. So I just want to bring up, nope, you have to bring this up yourself. Welcome, Noah Houlihan.
Oh, good. What's up? How we doing? I'm excited to be here. I tried to do some research to make sure I was fully prepared on what's popular today in the world of games. It seems to me the games that most people want to play are just old games. Everyone's kind of done with new games. They just want to play the old classics. Because I was looking at what are the new games that are really catching fire that everyone's talking about? And I asked a friend of mine this. He's like, well, there's Animal Well. I was like, oh, what's Animal Well? It's like, oh, it's a Metroidvania that looks like it's on the NES. All right, cool. What else is good? It's like, oh, there's UFO 50. It's a playoff of Action 52. The old Cheetah Man game? Yeah, everybody loves that. And then there's Balatro. It's like, what's Balatro? It's a card game. A card game! One of the most popular games in the world is a card game right now. I was like, oh, do you play that on your phone? He's like, no, I play that on my PlayStation. On your PlayStation 5, the most sophisticated supercomputers ever built, you sold it and got the Pro so you could play a card game. Are they like super cool art cards? Like, nah, it just looks like playing cards. You could technically play this game at your desk. I just like if we keep going with this trend, I'm worried that like the Game Awards next year, it's going to be like, okay, and the nominees for Game of the Year, Mr. Game & Watch returns. Wooden cup connected to a ball with some string, VR. Tic-tac-toe battle royale. An actual yo-yo. And the Elder Scrolls Skyrim remake, re-release HP. It never ends. We just keep buying it. We have to stop. I was making fun of Balatro, and I was like, okay, I'll play Balatro. And now I love Balatro. I am fully infected with the Balatro virus. I play it all the time. I think about it as I go to sleep, and I wake up screaming about it. Like, that's... My life is just like every time I just drift off to sleep thinking about jokers, and then I wake up going, I should have never turned my 10 of spades into a stone card. No, I'm not playing right now, but I should be. Because Balatro, like, the experience of playing Balatro is very unique. Because it's not like a battle with Balatro. It's either you lose at Balatro or you beat the shit out of Balatro. The experience of Balatro is, you know that kid that you used to like play with as a child when you did like make believe? That you'd be like, I throw a fireball. And then he'd always change the rules and be like, I have wizard armor, that doesn't hurt me. That's what Balatro is, except you get to be that kid. Every game of Balatro is just like, oh, you played a flush? Sorry. That's not enough chips to win. That's going to be a game over. No, that card's made of glass, so I get a 1.5 multiplier. Oh, okay. And I have steel cards in my hand. That's also a multiplier. Okay, if you say so. And I'm making it stronger with the power of Jupiter. All right. Fine. And I have a joker that makes flushes more powerful, and that makes the spades more powerful, and a joker that does what that joker does and makes everything start over. Okay, dude, stop. Calm down. You got it. That's 800 trillion points. You win. Here's $2. Spend it wisely, because in the next round you have to score 3,000 points. You think you're going to be able to figure that one out? It was up for Game of the Year. It was legitimately up for Game of the Year, and it should have won. Did you guys watch the Game Awards? Astrobot was good. But also the Game Awards nominated DLC. What are they doing? The Game Awards the Game Awards gave an award for best esport athlete. And like, I understand that we should try to legitimize esports and that we should value esports athletes and give them like a pedestal so that we can praise them. But if we're gonna do that, they gotta start using their real names. Because it's getting real weird. Seeing award shows where it's like the winner of Esport Athlete of the Year. It's Fartbox69. Fartbox69! And some guy has to go down like, oh, thank you so much. First, I want to thank God. Through him, all things are possible. That's the name of my coach. Thank you. Through all things are possible. Your leadership really guides me. I got to shout out all the people that I beat. Actual Murderer XX. Siri by butt plugs. You guys really gave me a run for my money. Next year could be your year. And the Game of Awards this year did something that I could not believe. Jeff Keighley, the guy who's been running this award show for like 20 years, all of a sudden he walked on stage with a lump in his throat like, if you love games, it gives me honor to present this to you. And then they cut to the orchestra that just played music for 2 minutes. Just boom, 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 and colors on the screen. Boom, 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 boom. And then after 2 minutes of just building it up on the screen, Okami sequel. A game that came out in 2006. And after 19 years, they're finally giving us a sequel. I screamed. And my roommate came into the room, was like, "No, are you crying?" And I'm like, "Yes, Dad, I'm crying." So Okami sequel's finally happening. You don't understand. This would be like if the Philadelphia Eagles won the World Series. That's how crazy this is right now. And as I sat there watching this amazing display that we were finally getting the sequel, Jeff Keighley came back on my screen and was like, "Yes, we're happy to announce that tomorrow they will begin production on the Okami." Do you know how long it takes to make a video game? Like, you know when your teacher comes up to you in school and is like, "How's your research paper going?" The wrong answer is, "I'm starting tomorrow." That's the wrong thing to say. They spent 2 minutes with an orchestra to make the announcement that Greg had an idea we're going to talk about. That's where we were. We're never getting that game. I'm super excited to play that on my PlayStation 8. I haven't been playing games as much as I want to because I'm trapped in Final Fantasy VII. I've been playing Rebirth. I'm like 30 hours in. I think I'm through the tutorial. I'm not positive, but because I've been playing nothing but Final Fantasy, I've neglected all the other games. I'm super excited to get into Suicide Squad. Haven't gotten a chance to play that. I downloaded Concord day one. Haven't played that at all. Don't spoil it. I don't read the news. I'm very excited to play it. But like, I really feel like Final Fantasy VII is nothing but a tutorial simulator. It's just like every couple steps, somebody jumps in to explain how something works. And they've added so much to it that it's not the game I wanted anymore. It's just like, all right, this is how the combat works. It's now active. It's like Final Fantasy 13. Get excited. Oh, you want to upgrade your weapon? We have a sphere grid for that. It's like Final Fantasy 10. Get excited. Oh, if you walk around, you'll find a card game. It's like Final Fantasy 8. Get excited. When does it be 7? I bought this so it would be 7. Please be 7. I'm sorry? Did I find Fall Guys in there yet? No. I've been playing this for 30 hours, and I just learned how to catch a chocobo. That's where I am in this game. And, like, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. The game is beautiful. And, like, in the first city that's not a flashback that you explore is calm. And they put so much detail and beauty in this that I just spent so much time running around that I was like, I just want to live here. I just want to stay. You know what? I'm going to be a baker. I'm going to start a nice bakery here. Just the whole time, Barrett's like, Cloud, you ready to move out? It's like, no, I don't want to burn these muffins. I don't care about Sephiroth. Muffins. They're blueberry. I've been saying the word blueberry wrong my entire life. I don't know why. Another game that got announced that I saw was not The Last of Us. Everyone knows that. A Quiet Place. They're making a Quiet Place game? That's insane to me. Because I remember when games were like power fantasies. It's like you get to be Batman and just knock out goons and it feels good. I don't know who sat watching the Quiet Place movie and went, I want to live in that world. I need more of this. I want to experience this. And in the trailer, you can watch this. It's unbelievable. It's like this character, first-person view, just like looking around, and there's monsters, and they have to be quiet, and they come up with this idea to like turn on a factory machine, and it makes a bunch of noise, so the monsters come in, and they attack the machine, and that allows the character to hide, and then they breathe from an inhaler. What person was like, you know what? We need virtual asthma. We need to experience that in video games, virtual asthma. Like, I'm so afraid what this game is going to be. It's just like, you start every day, it's like, don't forget to take your fish oil or your clicky knees might alert the monsters. If you need some health, you can eat some fruit salad, but there's kiwi in it. Make sure you pick that out. If you want to save your game, use the bed, but you have to sit there and doom scroll for an hour. Oh, that's what my ex is up to. I love being a gamer. I'm a huge nerd. I do this, so that should be obvious. And I always have these people in my life that want to give me advice and are like, you got to grow out of it, you know? Get into like adult stuff. Get into sports. I'm into esports. Have you seen Fartbox 69? He's amazing. It's his year. It's his year. And this friend of mine was like, you know what? I'm going to get you into sports. I'm going to help you get out of this gamer stuff. I'm going to get you into sports. I'm going to take you bowling. I was like, how dare you call bowling a sport? Bowling is the only sport that's also a birthday party. Like, I've never heard a story of little Braden being like, it was the best birthday ever. My mom took us out to play lacrosse. No, that's only for bowling. So my friend took me bowling, and real quick, the bowling alley was in the most amazing location I've ever seen. It was like this intersection, and there was a bowling alley, a liquor store, and a porn store, all in one spot. Just your convenient location for all your favorite one-arm sports. Just absolutely fantastic. I got thirsty. But the one thing I hate more than bowling is going bowling with someone who loves bowling. So my friend was sitting with me and was like, man, I love bowling. I think this is the most underrated sport. And I was like, you're lying. And he's like, no, I think bowling takes more like physical skill, accuracy, and endurance than like golf. In golf, you hit the ball 300 yards. In bowling, you throw it a couple feet and it comes back to you. What are you talking about? Nah, bowling is much harder than golf. I was like, could you imagine if golf was like bowling? Just like, all right, Tiger, you're on the 9th hole. This is a really tricky hole because it's identical to the previous 8 holes. Tiger's gonna take a long look at this, and oh, it looks like he's got the waitress's attention. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna have one more before he putts. All right, he's got this lined up. Should be pretty easy. Oh no, it's after 5 p.m. Laser golf has begun. He's gonna have to put that out of his mind because it is time for the percolator. Tiger with a great shot, and it's in the hole. If you look at the screen, you'll see an animation of some birds flying by, and some shooters will shoot it, and the feathers are spelling birdie. He's 1 under par. Amazing display by Tiger Woods. I love a one-person applause break. That makes me feel good. The only sport I hate more than bowling is baseball. I hate baseball. I find it to be boring. And just fundamentally, the ideas of baseball are bad. Like, you have supposedly professional athletes who are the best at it facing off at every game, which means every game should end about 1-0. If they're good at their job, they'll stop the other people from scoring. If you hear someone say, I went to a baseball game, the end game was 9-7, they saw a bunch of people who were bad at baseball. That's all that means. Because think about it, it's 9 people trying to stop one guy from running around the bases. They should succeed every time. Like, imagine if you hired 9 people to guard your house. And you were like, all right, guys, I'm going away. Don't let anyone in here. And then you came back 2 hours later and they're like, we let 8 guys in. There were errors made. So what do you mean you let 8 people in? We trained for this. I pay you each $100,000. I paid for you to go to Florida to train to stop people from doing this. Guys, I really care about how much I hate baseball. This might not be the location to do this. I like to tell you guys a personal story. Do you guys mind if I tell you a personal story? That's how I like to end these. This is the story of the craziest convention I ever went to. Because we've been doing this for years. And I did a convention. And me and Laura left and we're talking to everybody. And someone came up to us and went, +2 comedy. And I went, yes, I'm very famous. And they're like, hey, really like your stuff. Do you guys want to come to the cool kids party? And I was like, oh, we're cool kids. We'll go to the cool kids party. And Laura goes, he means drugs. And I went, no, there's no way he means drugs. Like, no, he means drugs. I was like, well, look, I want to go to the cool kids party. I've never been invited to the cool kids party. So we're going to go. And if there's drugs, we'll just say no. I will look those people right in the eye and go, no, I only smoke sausage. Which is a real thing a real police officer told me to say out loud to people. Real advice. So I want to go to the cool kids party. We go to the cool kids party. I open the door, and when I walk in, everybody at the party has a needle in their arm. Oh, not drugs. Oh, I should clarify. Everyone's got like sewing needles in their arms. Which, granted, not better. But I walk in and I see that, and I see the guy who invited me, and I go, what's going on here? It's like, oh yeah, this is Abby's party. She has a master's in acupuncture. So people like to come and get stabbed with needles to relax. And I couldn't get past masters in acupuncture. Because that means that this girl sat down with a guidance counselor. And the guidance counselor was like, what do you like to do? And she was like, stab people. I really like stabbing people. I could study that for 6 years. Just get real good at stabbing people. That'd be great. So I'm thinking about that, and then Abby walks over and goes, +2 comedy. And I go, yeah, I'm very famous. Which I should point out, they're calling me +2 comedy because they don't know my name. And having people know your name, the definition of famous. So I know how wrong I am when I say this. And she comes up, and I was like, oh yeah, so you're doing acupuncture. She goes, yeah, you want to try? And she comes at me like this with a needle. Which I don't think is how you should approach someone when it comes to acupuncture. Maybe that's what you learn when you get your doctorate. But they come at me like this, and I panic, and I look to Laura, and Laura is gone. I don't know if she saw a dog or something, but she's just not there. And then I hear a voice say, I've never done acupuncture, but I've always wanted to try it. And I was like, who said that? And then I realized I said that. That's what came out of my mouth in a panic, which is real bad because what if it had been drugs? That's the wrong response. And I can't go to my go-to line. I can't be like, no, I only stab myself with sausages. That doesn't work in this scenario. I went with, no, but I've always wanted to try. So she's like, okay, I'll get the needle for you. Where do you want the needle? And I was like, I don't know. I've never been stabbed before. She's like, well, if you want the most instant results, the best place to send an immediate message to the brain is right here between your eyes. And I was like, yeah, no kidding. That's where the brain lives. If you stab me right there, immediately my brain will go, we're being murdered! Do something! And you mean to tell me that like right here is the best place for relaxation, when right here is lobotomy? You mean those points are right next to one another? So I politely decline. I'm like, no, let's not do anything near my eyes with the sharp thing. Let's not do that. And she's like, okay, you're a little scared. I'll explain something a little bit calmer to you. And she grabs the webbing right here between my thumb and my finger. She goes, I could do it right here. If I go this way, it'll send a stress release message to your brain. If I go this way, it will send a relaxation message to your brain. And I go, I think those are the same things. I think you used different words to say the same thing. She went, good point, and she stabbed me, and it went through and came out the other side. Yeah, it sounds horrible, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I felt real relaxed. It kind of felt like I was floating for a minute. And then I was so relaxed, I didn't even feel myself hit the ground. And then when I was down there, I was so relaxed, I was like, I'm gonna take a little nap. And I blacked out. And then when I was waking up, it was a shame. No one else around me was relaxed. Everyone else around me was panicking. And I jumped up and I started screaming, I should have re-rolled the boss blind. Guys, thank you so much for coming to the Plus 2 Comedy Show. I'm gonna bring Laura back up. What are you hiding? What are you doing?
I was trying to get a microphone, but it seemed to make more sense to go this way.
Well, we have a wireless. And then...
But I like this one.
Okay, you can use that one. That's fine. Thank you guys so much for coming. We like to end with a Q&A. I understand if you guys got to go. But we like to end with a Q&A. Like I always say, if you want to... Someone's taking a picture. If you want to talk to me about comedy...
Guys, I want to real quick point out, someone was taking a picture, so Noah made sure to get right in the angle so I was not in the picture at all.
That is not what I meant. If you want to ask us about comedy, about wrestling, about conventions and stuff, you can. Or we can settle any nerd debate you have in your mind. So I ask you, who has a question? All right. I saw your hand first.
So it's not really a question, but it's more like, oh, there's a thing that happened with the dog, and I don't know the thing. I can relate to that thing because it actually happened to me. I did that very thing. So my mother had an accident in the bathtub. She's fine-ish. And I had to lock my dog out of the area so that way the ambulance can come in and take my mother. And they go, well, so what's her name? And I'm like, I'm petting my dog at the time. They're like, okay, this is Luna. They're like, well, we don't mean the dog. We need your mother. I'm like, oh, whoops.
I thought for a second your question to us was, what's my mother's name? I don't know. Does anyone else have a question? Does anybody else have a question? I'll come over here.
Oh, and when he passed out, the dog was a Jack Russell named Peter. Because there was a dog.
What do you think is the funniest wrestling storyline?
The funniest wrestling storyline is the question. I want to say ours, personally. Yeah, I'll tell that story if you want to.
Drew McIntyre and CM Punk are currently had like a blood feud over a friendship bracelet. Mm-hmm. I get it, the bracelet was symbolic, but like, I've seen people get less upset over friendship bracelets at Taylor Swift concerts. So I don't know if it's funny in the correct, like it's intended to be funny, but I found it really funny that they fought over a friendship bracelet for 6 months.
The best moment was when Drew McIntyre pulled the bracelet off of CM Punk's arm, and I just went, make him eat the bracelet. And then he did. I was like, yes, eat the bracelet. I'll tell this story very quickly. We work for Cosplay Pro Wrestling. and we broke up the Mario Brothers. We had this storyline because the idea is, what if we take famous characters and stick them into wrestling? And in Mario Brothers, Mario's goal, save the princess, and also, go karting and golf. Luigi's goal is save the princess by any means necessary. People don't have to like him. He's not the brand. He won't take any of the credit. He just wants to achieve his goal. So in the world of wrestling, it's win the title. Mario wants to win the title, but also keep the brand, looking good and be happy. Luigi wants to win the title by any means necessary. He doesn't care what people think about him. So Luigi turns on Mario. And at the time, Lara was Princess Peach.
At the time, still also?
Yeah.
I used to be. Still am, but I also used to be.
So we were doing this story where Princess Peach was heartbroken that this evil Luigi had taken the title, had turned on his brother, and was so heartbroken. And the end of the story was supposed to be Mario couldn't beat Luigi, so Peach goes to Bowser. And it's like, I can trust you to beat Luigi. And the day that was supposed to happen, the guy who was supposed to be Bowser didn't have the costume. So we're like, so what do we do now? Let's just have Peach do it. So Lara ends up winning the title.
Guys, friends, do you think I can wrestle? Because the answer is no.
No, the answer is no.
I can do a choke slam, and that's it.
Yep, she won the title.
And then COVID hit, so I had the title for 2 years.
Yeah, she holds the record for the holding the title, and she vacated it undefeated. So she's the greatest champion we've ever had.
I don't know if that's a funny storyline.
I think people laughed. Other questions. Yeah, well, we have a Team Rocket Grunt, and that's my character, so I'll come around to you. What's up?
So I was actually here in a panel like a year or two ago where you asked us to debate, and
Conquest! It's been a minute.
And it's just very important to me that you know that I do know how to say Amaterasu.
You unlocked a memory that I'd long forgotten. We'll try to bring that show back eventually. Other questions here? Yes.
He finished the story.
I'd like to start a debate.
Thank you, 5 wrestling fans.
Luigi. Oh, spoilers alert for Luigi's Mansion. Luigi should not have saved Mario from the painting.
Luigi should. I mean, well, I think yes or no. Is that true? God, I feel like debating whether what Luigi did was correct is real popular right now. You got to think about the motives that Luigi had. And sometimes Luigi does things and it's like, I understand, but I don't know if that's, acceptable, but morally I see what you're saying. So, should Luigi have done what he did?
Oh, this legitimately ruined Christmas. This debate ruined Christmas.
Yeah, my family is super into Luigi's Mansion, and we were discussing whether or not. I mean, I think when you dissect Luigi as a character, because this is a thing that we did, Luigi is morally good at the detriment of himself. Like, I know he's also like a coward, but he always does the right thing regardless. And while it's great that Luigi finally got his own game, it's weird that we never got Luigi Golf, Luigi Tennis, or something like that to give to him. Like Diddy Kong had his own racing. And
it's also weird that you had to your second character could be Gooigi, because that's how far they'll go to not put Waluigi in a game.
Yeah, very true. But
also, did they really think the video game community was responsible enough to have a Gooigi?
But I mean, consider the fact that finally they gave Luigi a game before Luigi's Mansion. They gave him his own game, and it's Mario is missing. The whole plot was you have to play as Luigi.
Making Mario the Poochie?
Yeah. Everyone's just like, where's Mario? So I see your point. But like that's so anti-Luigi's message. You know, Luigi just wants, care for all. And no matter what cost,
I think it would legitimately be very funny if he had not saved Mario from the painting and Nintendo had run with it. And then just like didn't put out any Mario games for a couple years and then put out the sequel. And then in the sequel he saves him and then we get Mario games again. Like really lean in.
Yeah. I think each there should be one copy of every game that's the canon game and you don't know that you get it. And some kid's like, I never beat Luigi's Mansion. It's like, well, then Mario's not saved. Get at it, kid. We have tennis games to make. That's a great question. I really like that question. I would say that it's Luigi's character that he will always save his brother, even though Mario might not in that exact same situation. It's a good question. Who else has a question? Right here up front. Great Ligma shirt.
Okay, I am really sorry for whispering, but I've lost my voice. Where do you lie on the Mario and Luigi versus Sephiroth debate?
Where do I lie in the Mario and Luigi versus Sephiroth of debate? Is this a common debate people are having?
Yes, very much.
Really?
Yes.
He's in Smash
He's in
now.
Smash, yeah.
I mean, I loved when Sephiroth showed up and the first thing they had him do was stab Mario. I mean, I'm trying to come up with a case for the Mario brothers because they at least have tag team moves based off of the Mario Luigi saga that they can use to get together. But Sephiroth, like, he's got multiple forms he's gonna go through. He can use like an Omni/like.
But Mario and Luigi have plot armor. Like they're always gonna live through their game.
That's true.
Yeah, like Sephiroth doesn't know what he's gonna get, whether it's gonna be firepower or a frog.
Yeah. But when Sephiroth shows up for this battle, the Mario brothers are outside jumping on the same turtle 100 times. Like, what are they doing? Oh no, they have 99 lives. This is gonna take real work to get through this. And then they got stars ready to use.
Yeah, I'm saying Mario and Luigi just also like have Mario and Luigi ever appeared in a game that's been rated like teen or mature? They have plot armor.
I don't think.
That too. But that's less funny.
I do love the idea of a giant sword against two plumbers with hammers. Oh man, I think you talked me into it being the Mario Brothers. Like, because we said definitive answer, and like, Sephiroth is destined to lose because he's the bad guy in the game.
Right?
Maybe if he had his own game, but then that would be a prequel. That would, oh my God, this feels like sacrilege. But yeah, I think the Mario Brothers take it. It's also like it's the Super Smash Brothers, you know?
Yeah.
Air Gaze was not that great of a game. That joke was for you only.
I do.
So
I
hope
do
you
so love winning
appreciated
on a
that.
technicality.
Oh, was that a contest between the two of us?
I won.
Laura wins. Laura
Yay!
wins, everybody.
So, I think we have about 5 minutes left.
6 minutes left. Who's got a question? I want to go with someone. Let's go all the way to the back. We'll go all the way to the back. All right.
I have only one question. What is the raccoon game?
What is the raccoon game?
Oh, it's called Twisted Tail. I don't
Yes.
even know where. Like, I don't know where I originally saw it. Somebody sent it to me because they're like, "Oh, you're just a raccoon."
Yeah. There's two. There's Twisted Tail, which is like you are a raccoon and you do raccoon things. And then there's Wanted Raccoon, where it's a stealth game where you have like a jetpack.
Sidebar: someone with a Nightwing T-shirt came in for a second, and I went, "Oh!"
No. My past love. Other questions? Yes.
Yeah, I got a question. What's the best Abolitro suit?
Is it Balatro? I've been saying it wrong, or is it Balatro? Is whatever I want. All right, cool. The best suit, I would say, because you know what, my favorite deck. You asked, so I'm telling you. My favorite deck is the one where you just get hearts and spades, and then you could just get a bonus that your hand goes up by one. You can always play a flush. That's my deck. So I usually lean more on hearts because there's a better joker for hearts than there is for spades, in my opinion. So I usually just do lots of heart flushes. So that's my favorite suit.
Lots of heart flushes sounds like an emo band in the mid-2000s.
We are lots of heart flushes. Where are you? I need the ace now. I'm not doing the whole song, sorry. That's all I had for that. I'll come over there.
I like that I said emo and the only thing you could come up with was Blink-182.
Well, I'm so sorry.
You any good at Punch-Out?
Am I any good at Punch-Out? You were at the panel last year, weren't you?
I specifically banned this tale.
You want to know that? We don't have time for that
No,
story.
we don't.
But
it derailed the entire Q&A last year.
Yeah, if you want to ask me the Punch-Out story, I might tell it out in the hallway after they kick me out of this room. Do it as a podcast episode? Maybe. We do need to release a podcast because we didn't watch a show. If you guys want to watch our podcast, we do a show called Stay Doomed, where we watch TV shows that ran one season or less and decide if it should have been canceled or if we should have stayed tuned to it. So you can check that out wherever podcasts are sold.
But some weeks we don't have time to do a watch and review.
Yeah.
So this week's episode will probably be about MAGFest.
About MAGFest.
It won't be about Stay Doomed MAGFest, but it'll be kind of like, hey, this is how our MAGFest went.
Maybe it'll be the Punch-Out story. You got to subscribe to find out. All right, well, I think we have time for one more question. Is your question good? The confidence back here. I have to go with the confidence back here. This better be good.
No, finishing the show on hostile energy.
Well, you want hostile energy. Were you aware there is already an Okami sequel called Okami Den that came out 2010?
Yeah, we know. It doesn't help the joke. I'm going back to this Mario Sunshine guy. Yeah, I know. Of course I know. I cried. All right.
Hey, so you play a bad game and you're like, oh, this sucks. I'm going to stop playing. Have you played any bad games for too long?
Oh, yes. I can tell you exactly what this game is. Do you have a bad game before I
I was going to take a second because you seem so certain.
I know exactly what this game is. It is the best, worst game you can ever play. It is a frustration simulator, but it's not like a fumblecore. It came out on the PlayStation 2. It's called Lifeline. It is the best game. You have a controller that doesn't do much. You can't control the character with that. You play a guy trapped in an intercom room on a spaceship, and you use a headset to talk to this woman to guide her through her mission. And the idea is she is a person not smart enough to fire her gun on her own. You have to be like, fire the gun. And she's like, oh, okay, bang! It is the best because there is an entire segment of this game where in the middle of everything, they're in a falling apart spaceship. She's like, hey, I'm going to tell you a ghost story for a minute. And then she spends 2 minutes telling you a ghost story and goes, but that's all. That's just a story. And then she walks into the next room, hears a scary noise and goes, nah, that ghost is real. And you have to spend your gameplay going, the ghost isn't real. And she's like, no, it is. It is. It's real. It's like, just be brave. I don't know what those words mean. Have courage. I don't know what those words mean.
I'm going to go simpler. Kingdom Hearts 3. I wanted to love it so much more than I did, and I couldn't. It didn't connect the same. I think it's because I missed Kingdom Hearts 2.736. And a Game Boy card game that they printed 6 copies of. So, for me, it was Kingdom Hearts 3 because I think I missed important lore.
Yeah, it's time for Kingdom Hearts 3. You ready for Aqua? Who? I think that's good. We got to say goodbye. So thank you guys so much for coming to the Plus 2 Comedy Show. That is Laura Prince. My name's Noah Houlihan. Thank you guys so much for coming. We hope to see you next year for more comedy.